Okay, today we are talking about finding the slope of a line. So when we look at finding the slope of a line, the slope of a line is the steepness of a line. We call it its steepness. It's a way to look at how steep, how slanted the line is, its steepness or its slant. So to find the slope of a line, we can actually calculate it by doing the vertical change. Divided by the horizontal change. But let me start by saying, I forgot to say, I did print a blank copy of these. I didn't print it, sorry. I saved a blank copy of these right into the Google Classroom assignment. So if you want to print one of these off first, so you've got it to fill out, so you don't have to sketch as much, you can pause the video and go and print that PDF out. And then come on back, okay? But if you want to go ahead and write it all, go for it. But you'll just see the stuff that the screen started with. So we're doing the vertical change over the horizontal change. So that's also called the rise over run. And in order to calculate the rise over the run, the way you do that is the change y over the change in x. So the vertical change over the horizontal change. So we're going to be doing some subtraction to calculate that. All right, and we'll get back to that in a second. We're actually going to be doing a fraction or some division in order to calculate that. First off, let's talk about what slopes can be. We're going to start with two for right now. There's two others that we'll talk about later. But first off, a slope could be positive, okay? If the line is slanting upward, it has a positive slope, okay? Let me get this line a little thicker so it's a little easier to see. So the line slants upward, it has a positive slope. Then as you might guess, if the line slants downward, it has a negative slope, okay? So our task then is to calculate slope. We can actually come up with a number for slope, and we're going to do this one together. So we have this line. It says lines because I have more on the next page. So we have this line here, and notice I've marked off two coordinates on this line, and so we're going to find the slope of this line, okay? So I told you that slope is the vertical change divided by the horizontal change, okay? So the way we're going to calculate that is we're going to do some subtraction, okay? We're going to start with always our second number, our second coordinate on the line, which means like moving from left to right. This is the second coordinate on this line. So we're going to start with that one. And as I told you, to find the slope, we're calculating the change, a triangle in math. Well, sometimes it means triangle. It can also mean in math and science, it can mean change. So it's the change in y over the change in x. So y ends up at -3, okay? And the y coordinate started at 1. So to find the change in y, we would take the new y and subtract the old y. So -3 minus 1. And then to find the change in x, we're going to start with our new x, so the x that is farthest to the right, which is 5. Because remember, these are x and y. That's what I mean by that. So 5. And we're going to subtract the original x coordinate, which was 2. And so then I'm going to go through and I'm going to do my subtraction. -3 minus 1 equals -4. And then 5 minus 2 is 3. And so my slope is going to be -4 over 3. That is the slope. And you would expect a negative slope because you would expect it to be a negative number because the line is pointing downward. So you already know that it's a negative slope. So again, to find it, what I did was the coordinate that was to the farthest to the right on the line, that's the number that went first. The y coordinate of this one subtracted by the y coordinate of the first one, and then the x coordinate of the furthest point to the right minus the x-coordinate of the point that's more to the left. And just so you know, because a lot of students get confused on this, it doesn't matter whether you write your slope like this or if you write it with the negative symbol right there. Either way, they're both the same thing. I would write it this way. Personally, that'd be my preference, but they are the same thing. So now the second page of the PDF, or if you're going to just hand sketch them, that's fine. Looks like this. So I want you to pause the video and I want you to try to calculate the slope of each of these lines, and then I want you to restart the video to check your work. Okay, so for this one, I forgot to close my parentheses. The point that is to the right is this one, so that's going to be my first number. All right, so again, slope is change in y over change in x. So I'm going to subtract my y's. 4 minus 2, or yeah, 4 minus 2, I said that right. Thought I made a mistake for a minute. And over my x values, 2, oh here, yeah. The way we're going to write that is 2 minus negative 3. Did you catch that when you were doing it? And so you write it out just like it is. It's always subtraction, and this is a negative number. So you should have written it as 2 minus negative 3. Now let's simplify. 4 minus 2 is 2. Whenever you're subtracting a negative, you can think about it as just addition. If you're subtracting a negative, you're actually going to move to the right on a number line. But anyways, when I see this in my head, I just know it's going to be plus 3. And so 2 plus 3 is 5. And so you should have gotten 2/5 as your slope. And it's a positive number, which you would expect because the line is slanting upward. Let's go on to this one. Let's see how you did for the second line. So again, we're doing change in y over change in x. My y coordinate, the one furthest to the right, is 0. And the one over to the left is 2. So you should have had 0 minus 2 on the top. And then for the x coordinates, 2 minus negative 2 on the bottom. Because again, it's a negative 2, but you're still doing subtraction. So it's 2 minus negative 2. So that's how you should have written it out. All right, well, 0 minus 2 is negative 2. And 2 minus negative 2, again, whenever you see minus a negative, you're changing it to addition. So 2 plus 2 is 4. And so the answer is negative 2/4, which you could also write as with the negative symbol there. So that is how you calculate slope of a line. Now when you go to do your assignment, you can go ahead and hand sketch any lines that you need to. You're just going to need to make sure that you draw them out neatly. Or there is some printable graph paper attached to the assignment in Google Classroom that you may use as well to do the assignment.